What's up? This is Coach Wukash with LG Training System, and in this video, we're gonna talk about some common indicators that many people take as signs of effective training. And many of those indicators are not necessarily true signs of effective training. So, in this video, we're gonna talk about what are the most common factors that people misunderstand or mislead, feeling like if they're gonna do those things or feel in this certain way, that means the workout was effective. So let's get started. Number one, feeling sore the next day. Soreness, it is an indicator that your muscles and your body was working hard, but it doesn't always reflect that the workout was effective. For example, let's say your goal is to build strength or build muscle in your quad and your glute, right? Which you should do probably, sets of squats, maybe lunges or lifting, right? Strength training or resistance training. But you've been running a marathon, 20 to 30 miles, and next day you were very sore. Your quad, your glutes were very sore. But that doesn't mean what you did was effective for what you want to accomplish, which in this example was strength and muscle. So soreness doesn't always indicate the effectiveness of the workout, because it really depends of what you focus in and how you work out as well. Next one is excessive sweating. People think that if they sweat a lot during the workout, that means that they were working hard and that means that the workout was effective. That's also not true, because excessive sweating is part of genetics, nutrition, hydration, temperature, humidity. Some people sweat more than others. And just because you sweat, that doesn't mean the workout was effective, because sweating is just your natural body response to release sweat to cool your body down when it's warm, when it's hot. So it's just a protective mechanism for the body to cool down, but it's not an effective. It's not an indicator of effective workout. I mean, you can go to sauna, steam room, and sweat there, but that doesn't mean you're working out and working on anything specific, right? Next one is muscle burn during exercise. Muscle burning can be an indicator of or factor of that your muscles are being engaged and are working hard, but it doesn't truly reflect the effectiveness of the exercise, because it really depends of how you execute the exercise, meaning what type of intensities, length, tempo, speed, range of motion, and what type of adaptation you want to accomplish. So, for example, let's say, again, your goal is, let's say, to gain strength and build muscle, and you're holding a body weight squat or wall sit, where you're sitting in this position for, let's say, several minutes, and you're gonna feel a lot burn in your quad and your legs, but doesn't mean necessarily you building strength or muscle, right? So burn is not always the indicator of an effective workout. Next one, heart rate. While heart rate can be indicator of effective workout, it really depends of what you're training. If your goal is, for example, endurance, cardiovascular training, the ability to recover, that you can use this data or indicator as something that you can measure and see if what you're doing is effective. But in certain modalities of training, it might not be effective, because, for example, with strength training, your heart rate is not going to be as much elevated comparing to, for example, cardio, because that's a different adaptation, different energy system. But that doesn't mean just because your heart rate is not elevated, your workout is not effective, right? So heart rate elevation or your heart rate is not always a true indication of effective workout. It really depends of what you want to accomplish and what energy system or adaptation you're working on. Duration of the workout. Just because you're spending long time in the gym, an hour to hours, doesn't mean that a workout is effective. I would argue probably that if you're spending more than an hour and a half in the gym, then you're probably wasting a lot of time and you're not training hard enough. You're taking maybe too long breaks, you're getting distracted, you're spending too much talking or on the phone. And it's also not sustainable to spend multiple hours per workout session. That can lead to injury, and overtraining is not effective. So quality over quantity is the key, and you can get effective workout in 30 minutes. So just because the workout is long or the duration of the workout is not an indicator of effective workout. Next one is complexity of the workout. Just because you're doing exercises that are fancy, unique, or even difficult, or haven't been done before, or haven't maybe you haven't seen them before, that doesn't mean those workouts are effective. And I would argue probably that most of exercises should be relatively simple, that the athlete can execute safely with a proper technique, and then just focusing on progressive overload and mastering the fundamentals skills of certain exercises. But the complexity of the training, it doesn't mean the workout is effective. Sometimes actually the more complex workout is, the less effective it is, because it leads to unnecessary injuries. It's harder to progressively overload. It's harder to measure uh, measure progress. So I personally like to stick to, most of the time, to the fundamental exercises, basic movements, and still have an open mind to experiment with different things. I think that's important to and try different things. But again, my point is that just because something is complex or unique, that doesn't mean it's effective. Next one, seeing immediate weight loss after the workout. I see some ladies making comments that after the boot camp, they step on the scale, they lost, 3 to 5 pounds, and they think that that's because of the effectiveness of the workout. But that's not true, because if you're doing high intensity interval training and boot camp classes, you're gonna sweat a lot and you're gonna lose a lot of water, and that's why you're dropping weight on the scale. But it's not fat; it's just water. So just because you're immediately losing a lot of weight, it doesn't mean that the workout is effective. And I would argue that most of the things that cause you to lose weight too aggressively is gonna have negative consequences. You're gonna lose muscle mass, you're gonna eventually injure yourself, you're gonna overtrain, and it's not going to be sustainable for you. So immediate weight loss from the workout doesn't reflect effectiveness of the workout. Next one, heavy weight training every session or hard training every session. Not every workout has to be 100% intense, because that's not going to be sustainable. Recovery is also a very important part of the training plan. And if you just pushing yourself 100% every workout session, then you're going to injure yourself, you're going to overtrain, you're going to decline, and you're going to burn out mentally and physically. And again, that's not sustainable. So there has to be days where, yeah, you're pushing yourself hard and you're training intensely, but there should be also days where you can go maybe a little bit easier or medium type of intensity, maybe 65, 70%. Some days can be very easy, light days where you're just practicing technique of the exercises, just working on some light stretching and mobility. So that's very important. And again, I just want to stress that just because the workout is difficult or hard doesn't mean it's effective. It's also really it's very important to train intelligently and smart, not only hard. Next one, feeling worn out or tired after workout is not an indication of effective workout. And I see that amongst bootcamp classes or high intensity interval training classes, where people saying, "Oh, the class was great because I'm very tired. I kicked my ass. I'm beat up." But that doesn't mean what you did is moving you forward towards progress of your goals. Everyone can make you tired, but not everyone can make you better. Okay, I can, or any kid that is can just write down some random exercises on the piece of paper, like do 10 burpees, do squat jumps, run here, lift that. Yeah, and you're gonna be tired, but you're not gonna necessarily work on anything specific, and you're gonna you're not gonna progress towards what you want to accomplish. So the training cannot be just only hard. There has to be intelligent exercise selections, the way you're executing those exercises, how you're progressing with those movements. There has to be a structure during the week of the training, when you're recovering, when you're training hard, when you're training a little bit lighter. And it has to be specific for what you want to accomplish, not just random stuff. So just because something is hard and makes you tired, again, it doesn't mean it's effective. Next one, following trends from social media of certain workouts. That also doesn't mean that what you're doing is effective. Trends in training and also in nutrition comes and goes, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they are effective. At the end of the day, I think we need to stick to basic science and realize what actually works, what doesn't. Doesn't mean we cannot experiment and have an open mind with different things. I think that's important as well. But following only trends and not sticking to the basic science and the basics of training is a bad thing to do, and it's not gonna necessarily progress. So if we're just following trends all the time, it's gonna be very difficult for us to progress. I think we might also injure ourselves and we might get discouraged. So it's important to follow the fundamentals of training, have an open mind to explore and try different things, but sticking to the basics to what actually works is the most important thing. Those are my several common indicators that people mistake as factors of effective workout. So I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you want to watch more similar content like that, please click that like button, subscribe, and I see you on the next video.